Hey everyone,
Hello, hello, hello.
Hey,
we are here.
Yes.
That's
What
what
is
I
it?
got.
What is it? What is it? It's a shift.
It is a shift.
it is a shift. It is
Sunday.
a Sunday.
Woo!
We are shifting.
We
Yes.
are. So just like kind of some housekeeping stuff, because I know people don't always listen to the end, and then we'll get like called out. We are not going to be recording on Christmas, so we will not be up on next week Saturday, Sunday, and then we will likely record early and try to see. We're going to see if we can get tech savvy and do something live on the 31st. So we'll let folks know. And Twitter is just becoming a wasteland thanks to the new overlord over there. Um, like we can't even use our link tree now. I'm like, Elon, you're wildin'. So please follow us on Instagram because we're doing a little bit more stuff on Instagram. I don't who knows how long Twitter is gonna last with Elon's temper tantrums. So it's GH_Sunday_shift.
How was the week for
No
people?
comment.
It's over, which is the best part of it. I really dragged myself across that finish line and just barely.
Mm.
Like I just really that last half of the week though was a lot. It was a lot. But I'm thankfully not working until January 3rd.
Mm. I think I don't have to go back to the fourth, and then
Mm.
who knows after that. But here we are. We're here. How about you, Tanya? Tell us something good.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I'm still working. We have like the
Okay.
last city council meeting is on Tuesday, and it's going to be a long one. But good. I've started on my Christmas, my personal holiday celebration. So, what I like to do during the holidays is look for Christmas lights. So, I do this in a variety of ways, but the main way is by riding my bike into neighborhoods and looking at houses. And so, I started on Friday, went through parts of San Leandro. It's a lot. You kind of have to be really committed to cruising because some they're not necessarily all organized into streets. You kind of
Mm,
have to like kind of ride through the neighborhoods a lot. So I found some really great houses, and those are the hidden gems, right? Those are the people who were just living in a random neighborhood and want to go all out. I saw some Star Wars themes. I saw
ooh,
a couple of, skeleton Santa Clauses, which is interesting, San Leandro. You got a little bit of a evil streak on you. I mean, I like that. Lots of 49er fans and some, so that was great. And then yesterday I went to the zoo. The Oakland Zoo has what's called Glowfari, and they put lit up displays of animals all over the park. So that was beautiful. It was great, except for all the kids. They were being kids, and so they were just running around,
so
talking
like
loud
me.
for no reason. Just like, and my friend was just like, "Well, you got to remember, kids don't have noise filter, so they just speak at the top of their voice all the time." I'm like, okay, because I got to remember that I'm single. I don't have children around me all the time. So when I'm around them, I'm jarred by the noise. But it was still
Mhm.
sweet to be able to see how, in awe they were of the animals. They want to take a picture with all the animals. And they're like, oh, and I was just like, oh. So that was nice. And then I saw a play in San Francisco, Cinderella with the African American Shakespearean Company. They did. They were singing and dancing, and the funny thing was is that they were name dropping a lot of sites in Oakland. They're like, so like Cinderella had to go shopping, and so the stepmother was like, oh, I want you to go to Swan's Market and pick up all this stuff. And I was like, or they're like, oh, we went on 98th Street in Oakland. And it was just like, it was great. Even though it was in San Francisco, they name dropped Oakland a lot. So that was really special. And then tonight I'm going on an East Bay bike party ride to Alameda, and Alameda has a lot of streets where the neighborhoods decorate their houses. So I'm really excited about that. So I'm kind of dressed warm because I'm about to go out into the cold, but I'm going to enjoy that. So that's how I celebrate.
You're
And I
so
have no
positive, Tanya.
I know I have no decorations in my house though, because I have no place to store it. So I go to other people's houses and look at them. So.
You are doing all the holiday cheer on my behalf.
I love that we were both like, yeah, Tanya, you just talk about what you've been doing. It's been rough over here. But I am in Milwaukee with my family still. Whew. And they have this thing called Candy Cane Lane here on the south side. So I think we're going to take my nephew next week. Also don't have kids. So when I first got here, my nephew gave me RSV from his daycare.
Yep.
I was like, these little germ factories, normally I'm not around children.
Right.
So I'm like masked up. I'm like, I hadn't been sick in 2 years. Saw him once. Got some cuddles and got sick.
Oh, I'm hoping I didn't. I was masked up and it was outside, but I'm hoping I didn't catch anything from these little kids yesterday.
Well, I have some extra masks that I will send your way as well.
Oh, thanks.
For all the child-free aunties, our immune systems are like, excuse me, what? Where have your hands been?
Like, I know sometimes I be around kids and I see their little noses running and I want to be like, mom. And they just let them go. But the moms be just letting them go. I'm like, you need to no.
Mom's like, I gotta wipe my own nose. I'm so tired. I get it, but also
I feel like it was a scam when we were younger. Like people did not tell our peers how exhausting kids were being. I have nothing but respect for parents.
Right. My best friend.
Say me.
I give them props because I can't. Maybe one day, but not right now.
I was just ducking and dodging my friend's kid's pink eye. Like I was just like, whoop, whoop. I got out. I'm okay. But
props to you parents out there.
Woo!
Nothing but respect.
Yeah, you're taking one for the team, for me and Tracy.
Team population.
Team.
For sure as fuck not helping with that.
No. Hopefully, if I get old, your kids can take care of me. Who knows? We'll see.
Okay. No.
All right, here we are.
Let's get on with the show. Okay.
All right. Right, that was morbid. Okay, here we are. I have Am I the Asshole for this week? Are y'all ready for it? I can't see you because I pulled the thing up, so I hope most of you said yes. Most of you said yes. Sorry if you said no. So, a few months ago, I found out my husband cheated on me with his son's girlfriend. When I confronted her, she tripped over a parapet, and I assumed she was dead. I would have had no way of knowing otherwise. In order to prove his love and ask for forgiveness, my husband confessed in both video and writing that he was the one who murdered her. Eventually, and unfortunately, we found out she was alive. My husband and I were trying to reconcile despite objections from his family and my friends, but he decided to serve me with divorce papers while telling me he cheated on me with someone besides his son's girlfriend, and he got her pregnant. Am I the asshole for threatening to use his confession to get what I want in the divorce proceedings?
Nope.
I love that for us.
Wouldn't be an asshole for fucking his uncle either.
Hey, I wouldn't think of being the asshole for taking the, mail opener and just stabbing him in the face. I thought that was what was going to happen, but
he had it coming. See, I'm gonna get this flag. Sorry, y'all. Yes, I loved it. I was disappointed that he didn't get stabbed, But you know,
It
you
was still
win
a
some, you
moment.
lose some.
It was still a moment though.
Great moments.
So I have a short recap of the week. Um, in a reveal we already knew, it was confirmed that Esme is the daughter of Ryan Chamberlain and Heather Weber. Ryan tells Heather that he has not heard from Esme, and they vow vengeance on anyone who has messed with their criminal minds baby, starting with Ava and Nicholas. In order to protect their secret capturing, if that's a word, of Esme, Liz tells Finn that she is pregnant by Nicholas. We also find out that Finn and Liz have never slept together. That's a yay, a yikes, and a yuck all at the same time. Alexa stops Finn from taking a drink, tells Gregory to only mansplain when it's requested, and meets with Curtis to undermine Jordan. Alexis had a week this week. Trina and Josh talk, and Trina finally admits to her bestie that she wants Spencer. Spencer catches up with Cam at Kelly's. Through their conversation, he finds out that Cam hates Dex. Follow that intuition, Cameron. You're almost there. Spencer decides that he also hates Dex, and apparently his freedom. So he punched Dex to the ground. He runs into Trina and expresses his man pain when they are interrupted. The PCPD is officially defunded by one officer. Rory, sorry. All right. Rory went off by himself to check on a lead that was not his, that nobody asked him to do, and he got hooked. My favorite commentary on this, to break it a little bit, comes from friend of the show, aka Tara, aka Port Misery. So when Rory comes out with these like red Kool-Aid tabs in his mouth, and he goes, he said the hooker jumped out the window. Tara goes, so the hooker can fly now? OGH. Anyway, Trina was obviously broken up by Rory's death, and we got some really great trust friendship scenes, and I'm sure we will talk more about that during the rest of the show. Liz and Nicholas realize that Esme is not the hooker because she is still captive, decorating her tree with toilet paper during the last attack. Other news, Vanna is living their best life in a windmill while they track down clues on Lucy. Maxie finds out Austin was blackmailing Spinelli. Brooke continues to plan her birthday party and updated her will to leave all her assets to Brad. Carly continues to scheme to keep Willow from finding out Nina is her mom. What a mess. And Drew finally finds out that Willow is sick. He puts two and two together, mostly that Willow looks awful, and realizes that she's sick. And I'll stop there for the week. I know that we have lots to talk about. So want to hear what y'all think about the week. Standout moment.
You know, I'm feeling generous. It was a pretty decent week. A lot happened. It actually felt more sweepy than sweeps did. Like someone died, romances advanced, romance happened.
Right.
Stories are converging. Liz is being hella messy. Tuesday was awful though. I did go back and like rewatch the whole week. I haven't done that in a while before the show, and I was like, Tuesday was very boring because it was all about like, you know, Milo, Carson, Drew, Crew, all those things. I don't
Oh, was that the day that that Nina basically told Sunny that she had to be careful with his kid so she wouldn't kidnap her?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Didn't care for that. But I will say overall, like I was entertained by the week and actually like excited to talk about it. I don't love everything, obviously. That's never gonna happen. But yeah, I enjoyed the week overall. And my favorite moment, Vanna screwing in the windmill. Obviously.
How can it not be?
They were so hot. What else is there to say? Like, all over each other. Finola and her pink sweater. Um, I really loved just how, like, we know how much work goes into the coordination of like these more intimate scenes, and like there's the appreciation of watching it from that perspective, but also how it just looks so effortless. It doesn't look coordinated. It looks so natural. Like these are just what the characters are drawn to do to each other. And I loved just like the scene in front of the fireplace where he just like grabbed her, them on the barrel. I was like, what's going on here? What, how this, we're really just blessed. Um, I also, the dialogue was amazing, like really funny and witty, but also very sweet. I loved when Anna was like, I was born aloof. So English in like a cute way. Because sometimes when I say so English, I mean it in like a royal family kind of way, which, you know,
Not Harry royal family,
not
Charles and William.
Harry. Mm. Harry, come along. You can hang out with us. Um, and I also loved Anna's vulnerability. I loved how she was just like really ready to get him to bed. And also the all the stuff around like I just want to get lost in us, and like that home is like she feels at home when she's with Valentine no matter where they are. She still hasn't dropped that L word, but that all but says it. And it also just like hearing about her reflections on like Robin and Patrick moving away, and like it also makes me think about Finn and how that relationship was coming up around that time. And I just loved that it was so rich, and it was like the only time we saw them all week. Which I don't love, but that is like the power of Vanna. It's just so classic, on the run, spy mance, like hitting all the notes of what you want out of a soap opera couple, and then expanding it even beyond that. So just nobody's doing it like Vanna. I say that every time they're on, and I mean it every time.
Every time. I think they also were my favorite as well. My favorite moment actually is when he like pulled her by her legs. I was like, this is very hot. Do more. uh, I always feel like they are being written by someone else, and keep it up. Like, keep writing them separate from everyone else, because they are literally the only couple that's like actually together with really good writing, with really good chemistry. Like, there are other couples that we enjoy, but literally nobody is doing it like them, because nobody is getting writing like them. I'm like, does Finola just walk in the writer's room like, move over? Like, I got this. Because it feels so different than the rest of the show. And it always does, but like to have them in the windmill out of the country, and nobody in Port Charles actually talking about them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not only that they're on the run, but it's like that nobody is talking about the fact that they're on the run. So it feels so disconnected in like the best of ways, because so many of the other couples, or much of the other writing, I think for me, leave something to be desired. They never leave something to be desired. They are the desire. Like, they are hot every time. Um, so I love them. The other thing I really loved this week was Sam and Maxie. Like, hey, they're friends and people remembered. I loved when Maxie was like, you didn't tell me you didn't like Austin. And Sam was like, I don't. Not like dislike Austin. Like, it was just like very funny, Sam. And I'm like, give Sam more to do immediately. Like, free my girl. Give her more to do. Um, so I really, really liked both of those scenes. And then I'll talk more about it, but I loved the trust relationship as always. What about you, Tanya? What did you love? Who's that performer of the week, or performers, if there's more than one?
Yeah, I agree. There was a lot that I liked this week. It was definitely, I guess, what the sweep week would be. I and you guys talked about this a lot last week, and I think your favorite performer was why her name Allie Mills, because she's doing awesome as Heather Weber, and even though the week before. And I tweeted about this. I was like, shout out to John Lindstrom from staying still, because she was all up in his face. And I kept thinking, I was like, I hope she brushed her teeth, because she was just like all in his face, in his personal space. If it was me, I would have been like, but he kept it still, and he's had to do that with multiple times. I think even with Ava's been all up in his face too, just trying to test him. And so I enjoyed their performance, and I think people weren't surprised that Heather was going to be Esme's mom. But I loved listening and trying to understand what that backstory was. How did they become a thing? What happened in that interaction? So I really liked it. I don't quite think it fits in the timeline of history, but I still liked it anyway. So I liked, that interaction. I didn't give them my performance of the week though, because I was really taken by some of the other performances, and since you guys already acknowledged them, basically this week was Tabyana Ali's week. It was Trina week all week. She had something going on with almost every day. She had scenes with Ava, she had scenes with Josh, she had scenes with Spencer, with Jordan, Trina in the hospital death scene, Trina in the chapel. We were in Trina's world this week, and everything else just seemed like filler. So I just I have to give it to her for carrying that week, Tabyana Ali. And she even talked about it I think she did. She talked about it in their special Outlook Zoom meeting with Nicholas Chavez, the Sabrina event, that people were like, what are your favorite performances? And she was like, there's some scenes that are coming up. I can't talk about it, but they're really emotional and all this stuff. I kind of feel like that must have been what she was talking about, because she really emoted, cried a lot during the chapel scene and her loss of Rory. I don't think she was feeling it because she was in love with Rory, but I think she was feeling a lot of regret, guilt, and then sorrow at such a snuff of a life, I guess the beginning of his life. And he was a good guy. So I think I saw all of that in her scenes. And so I just really want to give her a shout out. Also, Maura West, Ava, she's showing being in love, being hurt, and ready for revenge, and totally fire. And so for me, I love when Ava is being her evil revenge for self. I really thought, like I said, she was going to stab Marcellus, and I was ready for it. But it didn't happen. She pulled herself back. But again, you guys talked about it last week. This seems to be kind of a beginning of a somewhat of a relationship with Victor. So I'm really excited. And even though she came off as an adversary and saying, you guys better watch out because, I have this, blah, blah, it seemed like a real flirtatious interplay for those two type of people. And so that's exciting. And I can't wait to see what comes out of that. And then finally, I have to give it to Kathleen Gotti. Her scene, just dealing with knowing that Britta is, almost on her deathbed. At first I kind of felt like, oh my God, why is Liesl making this about her? But then I was like, I had to take a step back and realize she was losing her children. She already lost her son. Now she's losing her daughter. That is painful for any parent to have to deal with. And you guys were talking about last week how, it didn't seem like Liesl's really paying for her crimes. This is the ultimate loss. I mean, her actions are going to, lead to the loss of her children. Of course, she did not know that the dad, was going to have a disease and pass on a kid. But I think she's almost on a similar track as Ava in the sense that even though her direct actions didn't cause her to suffer, but she is suffering in some really painful ways in the coming months. And I saw that when her scene. Now it's also, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I hated about that scene, but I felt that she really gave a great performance. So I just want to give it up to her. So those are my three, I think: Tabiana, Maura West, and Kathleen Gotti.
I'll say that what I thought Tabiana was amazing. Obviously, we have our Twitter Tuesdays every Tuesday on Instagram plug, where we like celebrate that character because I think that she is a character that we all just like love and have been fortunate to have played by two really amazing actresses. And this week was Tabiana's week.
Right.
I loved the scene in the hall because I think, or like in by the elevator, because
Mhm.
I think that there is really something about an actress being able to play all of that in front of her peers. So like if you have to think about who all was there, so it's like all the young adults, it's Cam, Joss, and Spencer. Then it's like Curtis and Portia. Then it's Jordan and Dante. Dante, who she's not even really in scenes with like that, and she has to emote that way. I just thought it was like phenomenal. Like I felt it. Like I don't hate Rory. I've never really hated him, but I don't like him because what is to like? And I think that she did a really good job of like making me care about her pain. And to your point, it's like her not loving Rory doesn't mean she didn't like him.
Mm-hmm.
And she talked a lot about that with Josh. Like he's a good guy. We have fun together. We do these things together. He was her friend. And so not loving him doesn't mean that she won't. She not only the guilt and the regret and the pain, but also like mourning of her friend. And so I thought she like did a really really good job of showing that. And I appreciated with the chapel scenes. One of the reasons I didn't want Rory to die is because I was like, oh, this feels like just another really painful barrier to Sabrina. Because it's not like she's gonna be like this guy I just dated who I cared about as a person died. Let me go hop on Spencer. Like this is gonna be like another process for her. And so I appreciated the scenes in the chapel being her and Jocelyn and not her and Spencer. Because they could have gone a different way with that. Um, and like shout out to Oscar's Ghost getting more mentions this week than Jason's. Here we are.
You
Yeah.
know, I never cared for Oscar, but I'll take it. I'll definitely take Oscar's ghost over Jason's any day. Yeah, I agree. Tatiana was phenomenal, and it reminded me actually a lot of kind of my experience of watching Anna grieve Peter and her reaction to his death. Where I wasn't rooting for Rory to die. Like that wasn't I appreciate the drama of it. And I think it is actually like an interesting use of the character, is like to generate conflict and drama in a way that like the substance of his character just never could. Um, but so it's not the exact same dynamic, but I found myself caring about the way that it impacted Trina, and it brought more gravity to the fact that like this was a young person who was really kind to her and was there for her in a time that she really needed support. And just also wasn't the right fit for her. And so I think it is a more interesting dynamic for her character to explore and for her character to grow. And I'm okay with it also slowing Sabrina down, because even though I am like, there is part of me that's just like, put them together already. It's like, we've waited this long, put them together in an interesting way, please.
Mhm.
In a way that actually like honors the actors and honors the characters and like the investment that people have in the characters. So and that I'll talk more about this in the later, but I think I actually prefer it this way.
Yeah, I actually kind of think that his death almost accelerates Brina, because while he was around or while they were together, there's just no possibility. But now that he's gone, of course she's gonna hold on to some guilt and be like, I can't be with anyone right now. I need to mourn. But I think there's some possibilities of um, Spencer wiggling his way in after that. So his death, I kind of feel like his death or the departure needed to happen in some way, shape, or form in order for Sabrina to move forward. So
I just wanted it to be a little bit different. I'm tired of like the suffering, and I think that part of the I think of Trina. I'm tired of Trina suffering. Like, if you think about what Taviana's had to like do since she's been on, so like immediately she's arrested. She has to go through this trial. Then like the Hook killing start. Now she's lost Rory. She's about to have to figure out like that Curtis might be her dad. Like it's just like thing after thing after thing for her. And I love Trina being centered, but I also wish there was a way that it was like, I don't know. It feels like they can't write anything different. Like same thing with Sasha. So I'm glad that like Tabiana and Trina are being centered. I just wish, like I wish that Spencer wouldn't have gone to jail that second time. Like I wish that like what they would have done with him, because I think Nicholas has talked about this, that they needed to kind of like rest the character because of his episode count. I wish that he would have like gone to Europe like searching for Esme. Um, and then like coming back when he found out about the Hook, or coming back when he found out whatever, when that Esme was back in town. I wish that I wish that like Rory would have like seen Sabrina kissing and then like left town, or like would have maybe then turned evil like everyone like assumed he was or whatever. It just feels like all of the things that we think for these characters ends up being more interesting than what actually happens. So like we were speculating last week, like, oh wait, we saw Rory with Victor. Does that mean like maybe he's working with Victor? No, he's just boring and kind of dumb.
right.
Like, like nobody told you to show up like this by yourself. How I love when Courtney is like one of the people I still follow on Twitter, and I saw her tweet, how did Rory bring a gun to a Hook fight and still lose? Like
Yeah.
what,
Like
what the hell
I
happened
was
here?
really, I was like, I wrote in my notes, I was like, please don't let Rory lose this fight with a gun on the, because I'm just like, I don't understand. I still don't understand what went down. That whole thing was just hella sketchy,
How
but
did how did he also have time to put an earring in his pocket? I was really tripped up on that. I was like, what? And
When the Hook flew away.
I caught myself starting to try to find a deeper meaning in it, and then I was like, pull yourself back. Pull yourself. There's not a deeper meaning here. There's not. Maybe there is, but don't get attached to one. And I think that's part of like, I don't know. I think maybe it's also like I'm not doing a lot of speculation around the storylines. So I don't expect it to be more interesting than it's been. And so it's about as interesting as I was expecting it to be. Or maybe even more, because I wasn't expecting it to be interesting at all.
it doesn't have to be interesting, but make it make sense. I need to.
Oh no. See, that's the thing. I expect it to be interesting more than I expect it to ever make sense.
So.
I have let go of all expectations around things making sense on this show. Because it's like, I think in the past, we're really going off on a tangent here, but that's fine. Mm-hmm. In the past, I think the show has made more sense, obviously, than it makes now. And this is not a genre that is known for its sense making. And so I find myself leaning more into that and just being like, you know what, it's just going to be nonsense. And I found it to be more enjoyable.
I hear that, and I agree with you. I've been doing a lot less speculating as well. I think that if something doesn't make sense because you're trying to like put disconnecting stories together, and you're like, okay, it's disjointed because we got to make it fit. Like, so for example, a lot of times when people start serial killer stories, they don't know who the killer is going to be, like stuff like that. What has been harder is when things just don't make sense, period. because it feels lazy. And that's the part that I think I have a more difficult time with. And so I was saying that like sometimes with us, like what we speculate ends up being more interesting. Everything that we speculated about Elizabeth was more interesting than what we saw.
Mm-hmm.
Like sis just like had a sleeping pill addiction. Like what's going on here? Like this can't be the story. Um, and then it was. And then it was like Finn and Reiko, who I was like, maybe Reiko isn't dead and she's the hooker. Like, like whatever. Um, I don't know. This is me talking in circles. What worked for you? What's working for you, Sandra?
Well, actually, what I'll say is what's working for me is everything that Liz did this week. Like every single thing. She really pulled the my boys card to get Finn to keep her fake Niz pregnancy a secret. And I salute that mess. I really do. I loved it so much. Because Liz does she pulls the my boys card a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I've tracked over the years. Sometimes I've been like, I don't know, girl, about that. Like, I think you're leaning in a little bit too hard on the my boys card, considering Cameron is raising them. And you got them out on the side of the highway, with signs, begging for money. But I really love this choice for you. It was like, to me, this pregnancy storyline is like my reward for having to sit through whatever the fuck they were trying to figure out with her anniversary storyline. Like, this is the anniversary storyline that at least I feel like I deserve. So I'm actually I'm really loving it. Everything that led up to it, oh my God, awful. But like once we got to this point, I'm bought in. I'm bought in. And in general, I'm actually really enjoying, if I zoom out and I don't look too close to the details, I'm enjoying like the ecosystem of the hooker storyline. Like, I'm enjoying the Niz holding Esme hostage. What I really, really want actually is for Nicholas to be fooled into thinking that Esme is like some innocent little lamb that needs to be protected, and then she kills him. That's what I really want. Like, it's like, okay, she's not the killer. She's not the hook killer, but she's still dangerous, is what I want the takeaway to be. We'll see where that actually goes. But I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying Liz getting kind of like brought into this storyline, because we did always kind of talk about wanting her to be more present in the Esme storyline, and seeing Esme get retribution, or like people have like one of the moms to have retribution against her. Wish it was Portia, but Portia's busy. And I am glad to have the kids reunited again, for Spencer to be out of prison. His behavior is another story. But I'm glad for him to be back. It feels like a piece that was missing in that teen scene, and already I can feel the difference in the tone and the quality of the show, with them, the four of them, being together and really present at the front and center of the storyline. And I can't wait until Laura finds out what actually happened. Both like finds out that Nicholas had sex with Esme, but also finds out about all this other Niz stuff. First of all, that there's gonna be another Niz baby. And then she's also gonna have to find out that no, that's not actually a Niz baby. That's an ick baby. Like, there's just so many. I also just love the mess of this, because it's not one of those situations where like, if only people knew the truth about what Niz was hiding, they would understand what they're doing. That's not true. If people knew the truth, they'd be even more like, what the hell is happening here?
Right.
It's like, yeah, y'all should keep lying because this is a mess. So I'm enjoying. I'm like, oh, this is a soap that's actually soaping. And so that the messiness of it all is working for me.
Yeah. I would say that, as a notorious not Liz lover, this should be me like pointing like, I can't believe, look at your girl. And I'm like, look at your girl. You know what I mean? Like, she's doing this, isn't she? Like, this should be a time where, like, as a Carly fan, I'm like, you guys always talk about Carly, but no, I'm like, Liz, keep it up. My favorite of that was when she walked into the room with them like playing with the tree. They were like, join us. Like, it was so crazy.
She's like, oh my God.
Everything about that scene was so weird and like creepy too. And then her reaction was just,
it's just like, it's such a test. It's so clear how bad they had been doing Liz's story that we all love this. Like, I haven't really, I mean, I've seen a couple people, but like for the most part, we're like, no, keep doing this, Liz. This is great. Um, and Becky seems to be like really loving it. Like, her hair has improved since she's not been with Finn anymore.
Oh my God.
Right?
How sad is that? Her hair looks better.
good. Her glow, she's glowing. Like, I'm like, we got a live one here. Becky's back. Becky had to go away for a little while, but Becky's back.
She loves it, and girl, I love it for you. I agree. It's great. It's amazing. Working for me very little, but I will say I do enjoy the 4 young adults being back and present. I have always Cam and Spencer's hair. It's giving heartthrob.
It's giving, yeah. I like it.
It's giving like Jonathan Taylor Thomas circa 1990 whatever. Like, I was like,
it's
okay,
giving yeah, it's giving Jonathan Jackson circa like 1997.
Mm-hmm.
I like that feeling, that like lucky energy, like the lucky energy that I like,
right,
from Cam. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tanya is not a fan, but that's okay.
Just like, it's kind of like, it reminds me of, when I was in college, and then the guys had these phases of hairstyle where they either grew it long or they grew it wild, and they just, let it go. And I'm just like, no, I don't like it, but I understand it's happening. And I see that it seems like they're having this moment, and I'm like, okay, I think it looks better on Cam than it does on Spencer. But I saw a clip of Spencer after, he hit Home Dude, and he did this hair flip, and apparently all the ladies went wild over it. So I'm like, okay, I can see that, but I still like it better shorter in the back. That's just my personal preference. So
I hear you. But they're giving heartthrob for me. It's very much like, put us on the cover of J14/Tiger Beat. We're in boy bands. We're doing this. And I loved it for them. And it was really working. And yeah, like the trust friendship continues to be really, really, I think, important for them. Something I think about with Sandra, like, sparked this thing for me when you said, Sandra, like, you want to make sure that Sabrina gets put together in like an interesting way since we waited so long. I want to make sure that Trina's character is like consistent and it's not like watered down to make Sabrina work. Because the reality is, like, when they do that to women characters, then when the man leaves, what is the woman left with?
Right.
I think a lot about like J Sam. Like, part of the reason that we don't see Sam on screen is because she doesn't have adjacent story.
Mhm.
And so, I want to have Tabiana and Nicholas for as long as we can. I hope that when they get put together, it's not in that really silly chillin way of like being together for a couple of weeks and then breaking them up. I'm not interested in that. I want them put together in the Vanna way of like dealing with issues together.
Mhm.
And I want to make sure that both of these characters that I really love are like complete and full characters and that they complement each other um, with like the writing. I think that they will complement each other with performances because they always have. Um, and I hope to see that the writing lets them complement each other fully and not like rushed, if you will.
Cool.
So yeah, the four is working for me. What about you, Tanya?
I would extend yours where I felt the teens really worked for me, but I'll talk about a little different aspect, even though it's similar to what you're saying. I love that they haven't watered down Spencer to a place where he would become more of a romantic or good for the relationship. Spencer is still uh he's not a jail redeemed human. He's still self-centered young man who makes bad decisions. And so I like that. I'm glad that he's still like that. I mean, of course, I felt like he needed to be smacked a couple of times this week, but he wasn't. But he's still Spencer. He hasn't changed just because he had a stint in jail or that he's in love with Trina. He's still a jerk in a little bit of ways. He still feels that things are more about him when they shouldn't be. He's realizing it now, but he's still largely, he has a lot of growing to do. And I kind of like that. Um, so I love the teens this week. I loved their scenes. I also loved Laura kind of just, giving him a little bit of a pep talk. I loved Vanna. So those are the things that were working. Vanna's still working. Laura's still working. The teens are still working. Um, I'm gonna go in a little bit into what didn't work because
Okay.
sorry, I'm gonna go into what didn't work. So I talked
Tell
about,
us.
I talked about Liesel, how I liked her performance. And what I hated was that it was brought like Sunny into the mix. I
Yes.
understand how he's in every story. He didn't have to be in this story, and he was put into the story, and making the loss of her child about him, and not only just about him, but about Sona at the same time. I hated that. I hated it, hated it, hated it. It did not work for me. Um, it almost got to me as much as Cody still being in the scene. I don't like him. He still never, ever will, never, ever work. I don't care. And I really hate that he's trying to cozy up to Maxie because we know that he still feels some sort of kinship with her, even though nobody knows that they are related. So I hate that he's doing that because it's going to make when people find out that much more of betrayal. I need him to leave, and I hate him. Sorry, Cody. I like you. Go away. You don't need to be here. You're a waste of space and energy and time. My time. And I need you to go.
I will say that when he said, no one wants to know the real me, I was like, you're right.
Right.
Trying to move along.
Exactly. Does not work.
Oh, good. It will come as no surprise that the Sunny propping also did not work for me this week. When they put my child on Sunny prop duty,
Oh.
Oh God. Oh
tears came out of
yeah.
my ears. Like he's just like Sunny has been more than decent to Jocelyn Spencer. Chill out.
No, he
Absolutely not. Or being like what I hate about what they do with Sunny is that the people who criticize Sunny are never wrong. And then all of a sudden they like either put those people in a corner or they dim the critique of them. So like Jocelyn is actually right and wanting to break out of the mob is actually really good for her character. She was raised this way. I loved the conversation she had with Nina last week where she was like, I was kind of forced to think that this was okay until I realized that it wasn't.
Mhm.
Like I appreciated that. And so to like have her what like whenever she's ready to like be back in good graces with Sunny, she's gonna what backtrack on that.
Mhm.
Like they always do that to characters who are talking about Sunny. So I hated it. At least the fact that Sona knows about Brit before
Anybody
Brad,
else? Yeah.
That was really upsetting to me, actually. Yeah.
please say more.
Well, because Brad is the most like humanizing part, like the relationship with Brad is the most humanizing, consistent part of Brit. It's like actually what really grounded her as a character and gave her staying power and gave both of them. It like worked for both of them. And so for him to be so minimized in her storyline feels so strange and feels like such a wasted opportunity because that's actually so much of what makes her character relatable.
Mhm.
And like this is like she has almost no relationship with well Sunny first of all, and barely really has much of a relationship with Nina. Like her other family relationship that's strong outside of Liesel is Maxie, who
Mhm.
we also haven't been seeing her with much either. So it just felt so gross. I understand. I get that like Liesel needs someone to process with. And so like part of me was like, this isn't really like okay because Brett told you not to share with
Yes.
people. But I also like understand like I have empathy for her, but I'm also just like of all people to share it with these two, why?
I think oof, so I I hate Sona, so I'll get nitpicky. What I hated was that Sunny stayed. So like, you know, if somebody who I love is like, this thing is happening to me, but I can't tell you the details, I would be
Mhm.
okay, well, what can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I support you beyond this? Okay, you feel like you need to be in somebody else's confidence. What can I do beyond that? And instead it was like, no, okay, but you need to tell me what it is. Did she though? Could you not have still been a support for her
Mhm.
if you didn't know what it was? And then
Mhm.
it was like only done that way. Like, so it was like Brit's confidence was betrayed. She hasn't even told her best friend for like Sunny to have a moment that didn't even make sense. Like, you losing your dad is not the same as her losing her child. And Sunny, you've actually lost a child, so why wouldn't you talk about that? Alzheimer's is definitely not the same as Huntington's. So, like, what are we talking about? Just like another way to be like, look at us, we're good people. Like Sunny, like Mike's Alzheimer's is the new stone. Like it's the new way to like make Sunny like relatable and whatever. And it's like, you actually don't need to do that. To your point, like, they didn't
Mhm.
even need to be in that story.
Even
And
Cam,
yeah.
well, go ahead because I was going to talk about
No, no,
something.
no. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Cam and his reason for not liking Dex is about Sunny, right? Because he was saying that he didn't like Dex because Dex is the reason that Joss is mad at Sunny. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't like Dex because Joss is spending a lot of time with Dex. That's why you shouldn't like him. Not because she's the focal, like Dex is the focal point of Joss's hatred of Sunny. That doesn't make sense to me at all. And yet it just kind of makes Cam focus more on Sunny than the fact that his relationship is kind of deteriorating. And maybe they want to play it like that. Maybe they want to play Cam as the innocent person who doesn't realize that the relationship sucks. But he could at least know that she's spending a lot of time with Dex. And that should be a problem for him. Not that he's mad at Sunny. That didn't make sense to me. I didn't like it.
Oh, was that why?
Yeah.
Honest with you, I didn't catch that, but I also watched the scene a few times and still couldn't catch why anyone was doing anything that they were doing.
Right. So
No,
yeah,
that we're doing some Sunny propping, actually.
right. And
I mean, I got that Spencer was propping Sunny, and that I just want to give it up to William and Nicholas because they did a great job acting. But
none of that
didn't make any sense.
it didn't make any sense, and it didn't need to, because you just like seeing them together. But I
Right.
was just like, that reasoning didn't make sense. Like they were trying to come up with a reason for Spencer to go pop off at Dex. And the reason that they came up with didn't make sense to me. Like it could have been just as simple as, I just see Joss around him a lot and it bothers me. And so I don't like him and I don't trust him. That's all he could have had to say. But then he's like, no, well, because Joss is like mad at Sunny and Dex is the reason behind it. And I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah, no, I think it was like, because he said that Dex is like a wannabe gangster who's put Joss in danger. That's what I thought he was mad at Dex about. I mean, and plus, like, Dex is Mr. Steal Your Girl, and you might as well wear that as a, t-shirt. It was, the energy's clear.
Yeah. It's just like, that should have been the focal point. Like, he's spending it too much time with him. Oh, and then that Michael told him that he needed to stay away from, like, she needed to stay away from Dex. That's another reason he could have said. He didn't say that either.
I don't know if he
Cam know that?
probably doesn't know about that.
No, Michael went up to Cam and said Joss needs to stay away from Dex. It was a while ago.
Oh, okay.
He told Cameron that Joss needs to stay away from Dex.
I must have missed that. Sometimes I dissociate when Michael comes on screen.
Yeah, but that's Sunny popping. It was just, even with like with Sona. I mean, I said this last week. Nina, go to work. How do you have time to be chasing around Sunny's kids? You got 2 businesses to run. What's going on here? Like, it's just whatever.
I was listening to you guys last week, and you guys said something about Nina going after the kids, and I was just like, it seemed like she's looking for something to pin on Sunny's family to make herself look better. Like she's searching for something. She's stalking Carly, she's stalking Joss and telling Sunny, barely factual rumors. And it's like she feels like maybe she can get a win with the kids. And that's really sad because if you have to go and harass Sunny's kids in some way to get a win, it's really sad for you as an individual. And like you always say, Tracy, why would you want that if you were a fan of Nina?
I would have no way of knowing. Joss had Nina shook. Like it was
Right.
like she is like really like, I don't know if we're gonna make it because Joss said we might not make it. Girl, grow up.
It was
Why would you take the word of a teenager that obviously hates you, hates you, yet you're going to believe her?
But I'm looking
Even though it's
forward
true.
to Nina busting up chaos because that's coming.
That's literally what I was about to say. I actually was just sitting here like going back and looking at the spoilers to see if I could find some indication that Nina busts up chaos. I didn't find any, but it doesn't mean it will happen. I really want that to be the way that Cameron finds out about Dex. Not for Cameron, but for me.
She's probably going to see, Joss and Dex in an embrace, and she's going to be like,
She'll tell everybody.
She'll be like, I didn't mean to. I just blurted it out to this child.
Right.
This
teenager. I can see her wide-eyed and innocent going up to Cameron. It's like, is Joss okay? Because I saw her hugging up on Dex hecka close. What does that mean?
I saw her getting her mouth examined.
That's in the trash.
They were just rolling around in the trash.
Like her shirt was like half off and stuff. What is that? Is she having fever?
My God. Because also, let me just also defend my girl Joss, and then please, you tell us what's not working. I saw like, she's Josh should have told Kim. I'm sorry. Joss should not have told Kim. Like right after Rory died.
Right.
that like they were breaking up.
Who said that?
I just like saw that being like a thing that people were dragging Joss. Like,
No, she should have focused on Trina.
Now, everything that was done was like the correct order of things.
Right.
For once.
for
Like,
what? Now maybe tomorrow Josh should have called him and told him or something. I don't know, but I don't think that
The hospital was not.
that was not the moment. That was not the moment. I don't. So here's the thing. I think I don't like to tell people what to do. I do kind of, but here's the thing. I don't. It's never the right moment when your mutual bestie's boyfriend was just brutally murdered with a hook and snake poison. It's not the time to break up. It's not the time to broach that conversation. The next day, sure. That was not the moment. I don't know about y'all, but that's just me. It wasn't the moment. So that actually worked for me.
what's
The
not
whole
working for
rest
you.
of the week, I was like, Joss, I think it's time. But then that moment, I was like, it's definitely not time. Please don't do it.
It's definitely not. Well, Trina and Rory just broke up, so I figure maybe it's time for us to break up.
Thematically,
What? Trina and Rory just broke up, so
but my girl's single. I figure solidarity,
yeah. Time for me to be single too.
Is this solidarity? Okay.
R.I.P. Rory.
It's not working for me. Chemo baby storyline.
The what?
Chemo baby storyline. And that whole ecosystem is not working for me. Because we have like the Hook storyline and like all that mess. And it's soapy, it is giving. Sometimes it's giving us shit we don't want, but overall, it is giving us a lot of soap. And then we have like the Brit stuff, right? The Brit Huntington's let's scam this dying woman storyline. It's not great, right? There is some soap happening in this story, though. And we have finally Maxton sinking, hopefully for real. Spixie rising. That Britt and Austin maybe can comfort each other on her way out of town. There's still like things happening here. It's like Ice Princess adjacent, where like have the vets kind of in there. I don't love it. A lot of times I hate it, but it is at least giving something. The Chemo baby storyline is giving nothing. It just looks so sad. Definitely in contrast with like the Hook storyline, but even in reference to this scamming a dying woman storyline, and that's a pretty bad story, and this one's like even worse. So they really need to get this story moving. Like, I wish it would come out it wish that the whole truth would come out now, because it doesn't even feel like, I don't even want to wait for February sweeps, because like what's actually interesting about none of like the lead up is interesting. The only thing that could possibly be interesting is everyone finding out. Like, there's nothing else left to explore. It's just silly, because like at this point, it's actually really reminds me a lot of why Nixon Falls didn't work. It just doesn't make sense in 2022 that they wouldn't start with a 23andMe. Why? Because like Drew was like, well, we could go to a genealogy service. Why did this not happen in the first place? Because that Nina was all over that shit. Her DNA is all over the place. It's in every registry ever, because she was trying to find her baby before. And that's why they didn't do it. And they went through this whole like fake story with the fake, well, I guess she was actually a cult member, but like that the backstory that Carly gave her was so silly and like really below Caroline Spencer. In terms of scheming, it was like, oh, magically this person also saw Willow's mother die. And then she got mad because she didn't wrap in Willow's biological father dying too. I was like, actually, she did you a favor because that is ridiculous. That is the most silly, ridiculous lie you've ever told. And I stand by that. I don't remember all the lies that Carly told because who could remember such a thing? But this has to be like the sloppiest. It's really it's sloppy in the middle of a boring ass storyline. And it's like drama in a relationship I just do not care about. It is ungood.
Man, I think what a better scheming would have been, I mean, all of it is awful, but a better scheming would have been Carly intercepting Willow's DNA from one of the like 23andMe.
That would make more sense.
But they don't care about making sense. What I will say cracked me up was Carly getting her life read by an extra. Like, how did you let a day player come up in here and read the chat?
She is not just an extra, you guys. She is Iron Man 3 villain.
Oh.
So just to let you know.
Sure.
She was definitely like, everything about her was about the money. Okay? She was like, this is nice. I'm gonna have a cocktail. And you know what? If I was scheming some rich people, I would be on the same thing. So really, she's the character I probably related to the most this week. But when I appreciated the conversation she had with Carly because I'm so tired of the bullshit. I'm so tired of I'm doing this because I'm a good person. No, you're not. You're not. You're scheming. You're being trifling, Caroline. Now, somebody like me, I love a trifling character. So I'm not, that doesn't make me not like her. But it certainly is trifling. Willow is over here like crying in your face about not having family, and you're like, you don't need any family but me. It's shady. What are y'all doing? This is a mess. A mess. And I'm so glad that this woman read her down and was like, I mean, you think you're a good person, but absolutely not. And it was necessary. I wish that
I'm going to be missing precious moments with my family. And Carly's just like, I had no idea this was so important to you. Really?
Carly.
She doesn't know. Yeah, she still doesn't know why. But yeah.
Still, like, obviously this is important to her, regardless.
Important. Right. And I'm hiring an investigator to look for my family. It's that important to me.
And you actually don't know why Willow's last baby was stillborn. And so maybe she is trying to do health stuff. Like, aside from the fact that Willow looks like she's dying anyway, Willow looks like Bella trying to have Renesmee and Breaking Dawn. Okay, that she looks like her baby is sucking the life out of her.
Right.
But never mind that, because apparently the only person who can tell that is life coach Drew. Not even her husband.
Right.
Everybody in Willow's life has lied to her. And Carly is just like, yeah, me too. Like, what is going on? It's awful. It's really, really bad. And when you said something about February sweeps, I was horrified. I was like, oh my God, February?
Oh.
God.
Wait a minute. We're not going to find out until February?
I'm assuming that they're going to drag this out.
Well, that's not like she can live till February. How much more light makeup can they put on her? She does not look like she will make it.
I hope not. Like, what I would do is reveal it now or in January. But
New Year's resolution.
Frank refuses to text me, so what am I supposed to do? Yeah. Well, sorry, chemo baby. You're not giving.
Chemo baby got to go through all of this and then to find out they're not giving. Damn. Let's move on. Hot takes.
Hot takes. Let's talk about Ava.
Yes.
Ava is free. Ava is unleashed. Ava is ready to systematically dismantle Nicholas Cassadine. And I could not be happier. First of all, stunning. So beautiful all week, as always. But I have to say it. If a week goes by without me saying how stunning she is, well, you know something's wrong. Not with her, with me. I really loved just how visceral Mora's performances were, as always, but just like really getting to see her unleash on Nicholas the way that he has deserved, because it has been so hard watching her believe in him when he's like, he has never deserved it. Let's be clear.
Never.
But certainly after all this, it was too much to continue to watch her. And there was a way in which, like, even though Victor was being a piece of shit, I was like, he's not wrong. Right? Like, he was obviously manipulating the situation. He was trying to get one over on her. And there is a way in which I felt like sincerity from him on like my nephew is not it, girl. Like, you are like, I buy 100% the sincerity behind him being like, you are too much woman for him. You are too good for him. He is not who you should be crying over. And like, maybe you want to like come over and get a little, I don't know, comfort from Uncle Victor. Like, I was feeling it. So I'm very pleased with the direction of this storyline, and I want to give lots of positive reinforcement to keep going in this direction. I'm very pleased. So you can still text me, Frank. I still have ways you can improve upon it, but I like it. Free Ava. Ava is free.
I just can't get over her like forgiving Nicholas for sleeping with Esme. No. That Nicholas? Never.
The only way that I could remotely stomach it was that I felt like oh, this is really the final like time they're gonna make this reconciliation even seem like it could be a thing. That's what I was holding on to, is like, oh no, this is it for Neva, for real. I feel the finality, and unless they're gonna recast Nicholas, it's got to be done.
Because there is a rumor
has it
that Marcellus is out.
Fired.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not quit?
Oh, hell no. Fired.
That is the rumor on them streets.
Mm-hmm.
Can you feel a brand new day?
Yeah. I think we talked about this last week. He's no longer following GH or any of his castmates. He's not following anyone anymore, except for like Elon on Twitter.
Ew.
And then since then, different insiders have independently all confirmed, like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, he's been fired. So
I'm just waiting for the
I
news.
do
I hope it drops on Christmas
you
Eve,
think he
maybe,
was like doing too much on social media?
I
or
think it's,
not doing enough with his job.
yeah, I think it's because he's untalented.
Mm.
Yeah.
They gave him a long time to figure that out.
Yeah.
Too long.
Long time. Yeah, I think everyone agrees that it was too long, except for maybe him. Yeah.
Maybe Mo. They can still do their TikToks together. I actually, speaking of him, one of my kind of hot takes is that it's so hard it, to watch Nicholas and Spencer be at odds for so long. I was like watching some old like Nicholas Betchel, Tyler Christopher clips, and I was like, oh my god, my babies. And then I was like, it's wild to me that this version of Nicholas and Spencer have been in like good relationship for like maybe a week since Nicholas Chavez started. What's happening? Like such a foundational relationship. So like if they're recasting, I really do hope. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Marcellus will find out he was an imposter. I don't know. But I would like for to have some sort of Spencer Nicholas relationship because that relationship's always been so important to me. It makes
Yeah.
me sad.
It's like, and also when they were in good relationship, we all hated Nicholas's character so much at that point that like nobody wanted them to be in good relationship. Like we were all like, stay away from that man. He's only gonna hurt you. Because it was like I was like about Marcus as Nicholas. Like I had kind of just like resigned myself to it.
Same.
Like I was like, well, I don't like him, but he seems to be really into Mora, so that works for me. But when Spencer came on the scene and his behavior towards Spencer, and also just like the contrast of like how good everyone is in that Cassadine ecosystem and the kids and all that, that it just the contrast became too much. So
Yeah.
it was both like the writing for the character and also the actor just couldn't deliver. So I would really like a break from Nicholas. Like I think that the character should not be immediately recast. I think that he should be off from canvas for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And let his absence actually play out. I think that would be really interesting for Spencer, like dealing with his dad being like gone. But maybe not for too long. Of course I want Tyler to come back, but who knows if that's like possible at all or, the right decision. But I do think that the character will need to be recast at some point. And they should really like take the time to do it right this time.
Yes.
It's just so hard for me to believe that there wasn't a better choice than Marcus Coloma. There's so many actors out there. There's gotta be someone like there had to have been a better choice than Marcus. So please.
Yeah, I wonder if he like screen tested with like Ingo. Because you remember when he came back, he was spending all of that time with Jax.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, anyway.
I mean, I don't care who he screen tested with. It doesn't matter. He's not good no matter who he's with.
It does feel like he's gotten progressively worse.
Sure. But he's never been good.
That's true. That's true. Moving on.
I'm just like, let's be clear. He's been different shades of like either mediocre to bad. He's never been like good.
This is correct. Yeah. Tanya?
I'm just like, wait a minute. Are we still on hot takes? We were just talking about it.
Slandering Marcus.
Yeah. Yeah, my first hot take was again Carly being blackmailed by an Iron Man 3 villain. It really pointed out to me because her eyebrows are really distinctive. And I remember I kept staring at her eyebrows in the movie. And I was like, oh, that's the Iron Man 3 villain. She's got a role on GH. That's awesome. I wrote also, glad Nina doesn't want to get close to Donna. I don't want you to either. That's what I wrote.
Yeah. That scene, I actually was confused by it and I didn't understand the point. It was like another point where like Sunny had said something like about moving forward. He's like, well, Carly has. Why are you
Wait,
telling
what does that have to
Nina?
do? Yeah.
It was just weird. I didn't, it was like nonsensical. It was like, oh, I can't get close to you because then I'll be close to, or I can't get close to Donna because it'll hurt if we break up. And you are his girlfriend. Like, why would you need to be close to Donna right now? Shouldn't y'all
I
be kind of
wonder
like, I don't know. It was weird.
because Carly has that was a Mo line, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was an ad lib.
Oh,
He's just like reacting like as Mo. Well, Carly has. And they were like, there's no point in getting another take. Let's just keep it
roll
moving.
with it.
You know, it is what it is.
Damn, I kind of believe that. Oh no. God. Okay. Oh, other hot takes, Sandra. I think it's you.
I love the Trava scenes.
Mm.
I loved the space that Ava held for Trina, which I think is like only she can really hold for her. Even though she was kind of like projecting on Trina in the earlier scenes they had about Sabrina, where she was just like, don't do what I've done. Stay away from those asinine men. But it's like she had the opportunity also to go back and be like, who cares what I think? What do you want? And it was very like the heart wants what it wants. And also we have to make our decisions for ourselves, which I really loved. And I think that's like a really important space for like an adult friend to hold, or like a mentor that isn't your mom, you know, being like, stay away from that Cassadine boy, which is also like understandable why Portia would hold that space too. So it's just like another example of why the Trina and Ava relationship has its own place that's really important.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Agreed. I love their relationship. I had so many things. Um, I want to talk about Finn and Elizabeth and their immature, chaste relationship. What the hell? Like, did y'all know that they hadn't slept together?
Yes.
I can guess. I mean, they didn't really. I mean, every time he spent the night, it was like he was on the couch.
It's like I'm both relieved and disgusted. Just like, even with Trina was like, me and Rory haven't even slept together. Trina was like, I don't even have no immature ass relationship. Who do you think I am, Liz and Finn? Okay, moving on. I just
It's
couldn't
part of
get
the
over
reason
it.
why I was getting so excited about the pregnancy or the prenatal vitamins, because I was like, oh, well, she hasn't fucked Finn, so she's definitely gonna say it's Nicholas's baby. And I was like in it.
I thought it was gonna be like a timing issue. Like, even Nicholas, that idiot, was like, "Why don't you just tell Finn it was his?"
I'm glad that they made that really explicit. I'm glad that they made her say, oh, we haven't slept together. Because like it's like I knew, but hearing it, I was like,
How embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
like we can't even pretend like this is like there's any question. It's definitely Nicholas's. Yikes. But it's not even. She would lie about having another man's baby who she's actually covering for the fact that he had sex with his son's girlfriend, and she would rather do all of that than be with you. Mm.
And even brought Cam into it.
Cam, come over here. Come over here. Guess we didn't do it, right? I was like, Liz, Cam, don't bring Cam into this. He does enough. He's raising your kids.
Poor
and now he's gonna cover
Cam.
for you too. But now I kind of want Cam in on it too.
Oh,
A little bit. I need the conversation of Cam and Spencer talking about this. Like, I need it. I need them talking about, because one of the things I really appreciated that they did on days when they were doing the devil storyline was that they had like the kind of younger adults talk about like the wild exploits of their parents. They were like, people did what now? Huh? Like, I need for Spencer and Cam to really sit down and be like, I thought Aiden was my brother. You know what I mean? Like, I need all of that. I need all of it. Cause like that is some of the fun of having like legacy characters, is that you're able to like discuss, like, once Cam and Josh break up, I want Liz to be like, well, her mama. You know what I mean? Like, that is like kind of the fun of having characters who have these long histories. Like, I think they leave too much on the table at GH.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Cam and Spencer finding out about Niz and how much do they know about Niz's history, and like that's also why Lucky isn't around and all that. It would be a very big missed opportunity if they don't explore that.
And if they're getting rid of Nicholas, Laura might need a kid, and I don't want them to wake Lulu up.
No. God, anything but that.
oh, go ahead.
I was just about to say we haven't really talked about Sabrina. We talked a little bit about it, but I know we have some controversial opinions.
Can I give one? One is my hot take.
Yes.
Please.
Not necessarily. Well, it is about Sabrina, but not. Can I tell you how I felt Rory's death was so dramatic, over dramatic, that I laughed? To the point where I was like, he was like, I know that to me telling you I love you was too soon, but I don't regret it. And then beep, I was just like, oh my God, this is so ridiculous. I was like laughing. And it's well, no, I don't feel bad for the actor, but I was just like, it was a horrible death. And then he goes off, and they like this. We don't know it. Like, we don't know anything about this family. I kept thinking it was like, yeah, poor Rory's parents have to find out about his death over the phone. But we don't know his family anyway, so I guess he's that negligible. But I was just like, that death was horrible, and I was laughing.
I was like, the PCPD is definitely defunded. Defund Dante, fund EMS. Because why they had that man walking?
They were like dragging him.
I know, I saw that too. They could not even have an ambulance come and pick him with the little cart and anything. That was so bad.
The response time is not it.
And that's why we need Dex as a paramedic. See, it all comes together. We've talked about this.
Yes.
They really had Rory in the back of the squad car.
Oh, so bad. They didn't even couldn't afford to get him a room so he can have a hospital bed so she can have the death scene out there. He had to be out in the hallway talking about, I don't regret telling you I love you.
And his lips were ashy. I didn't like that.
If it was me and I was almost dying, I would have been like, thanks for being here, but can you call my mom? I would not be thinking like, I love you or anything. Not someone I just dated and bought. I heard your Walgreens perfume. That's all he got was she got Walgreens perfume. Like, I know. I mean, my brother, he's had a lot of girls that he's dated. He would have not have been like, I love you. He would have been like, call my mama. I'm about to die. Where's my mama? That's who I want to talk to.
Gotta make it as tough for Trina as possible on the way out. I will say a Sabrina take, and this was something I thought was really interesting. So Spencer has always been very intuitive about Trina, or at least I thought he has. And so when he was talking to Cam, like Rory told Trina that he loved her, and she seems to love him too. Where? Like, I just thought that was like really an interesting thing. I'm like, I would have thought Trina or Spencer would have been like, and she looked uncomfortable, or she looked like that wasn't the case. I don't know. It just like felt really interesting to me, like an interesting choice to have him not be able to pick up on how uncomfortable he was or she was with Rory. Even if it was for him to say, like, maybe it's wishful thinking, maybe she's really into him, and I'm like, whatever. But he's always been able to read Trina, and the fact that he wasn't able to read that she wasn't that into Rory was an interesting choice for me. It was an interesting choice they made in the writing.
I mean, I think he's able to read Trina up until a point, but he's not able to read actually Trina about her feelings for him. So I think I think it does make sense that he would just take the situation at face value. Because even if Trina still had feelings for him, she was with Rory.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's no reason for him to really see that Trina's not that into him from like what he's seen.
I'm just saying, every time I saw Trina with Rory, she looked miserable.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see that. John could see that.
Yeah. But he's looking at it from
anyone else really had the perspective to see what the audience sees there.
And then he's also looking at it from a kind of a romantic, jilted, jealous kind of colored lenses where, if I'm crushing on someone who I'm not actually with, I assume a lot of things like, he doesn't like me, he likes her. And unless he overtly says something, then I'm not going to believe that he has feelings for me. Even though Trina said it multiple times, he's also made comments that he didn't believe it. Like, why do you care? I didn't think you cared, blah, blah, blah. So he said it multiple times that he's clueless.
I also was like, oh my God, is my child respecting someone's boundaries?
Only to a point.
Only to a point, because it makes him punch people like dicks.
Trina's boundaries. Now everyone else's are out the window. But I think that is, for me, I see the writing pattern with Spencer is like messy with everyone, and then we see like the breakthrough moment having to do with Trina and choosing a different kind of behavior. And so I am sad that we missed out on some of the hijinks that we would want from a love triangle, like Spencer doing the most, and like the thing that he did. I did appreciate Ava was handling that little statue, and that was the statue that Spencer hit when he came into the room to interrupt Trina and Rory. And so that was a little nod for me, at least, where I was like, oh, jealous Spencer. But I actually appreciate that he is like hanging back, because that is like the signal he's been given, is like, I don't want to be with you. You made my life miserable. And that's like literally what everyone's been telling him too. So it's like, I appreciate him hanging back. And what I like about what I see the potential for with Rory dying and with Trina holding what she's holding is like, let's see how Spencer shows up in this. I would actually like for him to be like really supportive and not put any pressure on Trina to reciprocate his feelings, to actually just like really be her friend. And that's part of like his demonstrating that he is worthy of Trina, is that it's not all about him and his desire for her, but like, what does Trina actually need in this moment?
Yeah.
Kind of like how he was when she was talking about her mom to him.
Yes.
Like that.
Let's see that Spencer again. You're in there somewhere.
I think that is going to be what we see. I think that part of what made I'm looking forward to seeing the two of them in more scenes together. Because even if they're not together, like I want to see them like building towards that relationship with each other. Yeah, that's what I think. I appreciated the scene he had with Laura because I think that Trina and Laura like both soften him. But I want him. I don't want it to be made Trina's responsibility to like get them together.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I thought I didn't really care for was this idea that like Trina's text stopped him from like drinking. You know, like I get that for the one time, but I don't want that to be a habit. Like his moods are only based on Trina because Trina's going to be grieving. She actually doesn't need to be like trying to heal him as well. Like I want him to be like, you know, like to your point, I want him to be coming to her as a support. Because Laura knows once everything hits the fan, it's about to be a mess. Like so.
Yes, I do not want him rolling up and being like, I'm such a bad person. Nobody loves me. I'm okay. You can talk to Cam about that.
Right.
Like let Cam comfort you and like you actually be the comfort to Trina, and let Laura give you those kind of pep talks because that's what a grandmother's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Trina is off duty, okay?
I loved the what Cam told him that it wasn't his fault that he loved Trina too.
Yeah.
I thought that was really sweet. So all in all, my Sabrina hot take is I'm looking forward to more of them together, and like solving problems together. One of the things I think is really interesting is why doesn't everybody have security? How the hell is Spencer going off? So I mean, I'm glad he said he's not going anywhere, but like they all should now have security details. I mean, I know the PCPD doesn't have any money, clearly,
but everyone else does.
I mean,
I thought Sunny had security on Jots at least.
Right.
Nope. And I feel like that's been like one of the most inconsistent things has been security on these kids. I'm just like, what's happening here? Why is nobody protecting my children?
Anyway. Any other hot takes?
Just mansplaining Gregory is a fucking menace.
Oof.
Why is he here? I'm ready for Finn to get hooked. Michael Easton, it's been quite a run. But you've had 3 characters to figure this out. I don't know what to tell you. But I'm done. I'm done with Finn. I'm done with this whole like goodbye. You can take Gregory with you. Gregory could get hooked. Ooh, who do I want hooked more?
Ooh.
That's hard.
Finn, because I don't like that people are trying to like ship Finn and Jordan. Leave beautiful ass Jordan alone.
Who's doing that? Ew. No.
Never.
Not
any of the Jordans. None of
it's
them.
Also just like people like there's like this like misremembering of history. Jordan and Anna are close. Jordan shouldn't date Finn. But like Finn talks to Jordan like she's a stranger. Like you know, like I'm like, y'all, can y'all get some family trees, friend relationship trees in your dressing room so you can look at them before you go on set so you know who you know and don't know?
I was like laughing whenever Curtis was like, "You're thinking about Nathan, aren't you?" And Tanisha probably was like, "Well, who's Nathan?" Someone get me up to speed. Yeah, I'm thinking about all the ones I've lost. So I was like, which Nathan was that? The last Jordan? When
Yep.
or was
Yeah.
it? Okay. So I was
Oh
like,
wait,
was that
The first Jordan?
I think it was the
Jordan?
first Jordan.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
first.
so I was like, I don't even know if the last Jordan knew Nathan.
Right.
This Nina didn't know Nathan. It's just, I'm like, I don't care about these people anyway. I just said you brought this up, but I just wanted to repeat. Anna telling Valentine that wherever she is with him feels like home. Oh, I just love them. They're the best.
So good.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Well, Ava is free. Trita is free.
Trina is free. Defund the PCPD.
Eva and the
Hey.
PCPD.
Maxie's free.
Maxie is free. Close. She's not quite all the
Close.
way free yet. I'm not quite busting out the confetti yet, but we're close.
Maybe free of Marcellus.
We're gonna be free, which
Big
then
T
also
rising.
begins my month-long promise to be nice about GH, but I'm not starting until the last air date. Okay. So, but I will.
No, I didn't make that promise.
I did, and I'm okay with it. I feel like my sacrifice was worth it. I am a person of my word. But yeah, and Liz is free. So this is Freedom Week, y'all.
Freedom. Freedom. Sorry.
Okay, you're definitely getting flagged for this episode. Like, there's been a medley. So shall
What's going to
we
be happening?
talk about? So we're gonna do the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So let's buckle up, folks. I don't know why I said that. I'm so sorry. All right, let's start with this week coming up. The lead up to Christmas. On Monday, Sunny and Nina see Ava. The only thing that Sunny and I currently agree on is that Neva is trash. So I'll give him that. Only that. Niz get into an argument, presumably about like, damn, we really are holding this girl hostage. And I hope they decide to continue because it is the right thing to do. And certainly the most entertaining thing to do. Carly offers Jocelyn some comfort. There was like a really cute picture of them in Soap Opera Digest of them like watching movies together. So presumably this is about, Rory and all of that. That Rory person. R.I.P. pieces. Chase surprises BLQ with his news that he's firing her. I don't know why that would be a surprise to her, but whatever. They really just did like chillin' dirty because they had them have that really silly breakup that we haven't seen them in a while, and honestly I forgot all about them. Finally, Drew meets with Alexis. Will Drew remember how he knows Alexis? Because like the way the spoilers actually phrase is Drew meets Alexis. And I'm really afraid that Cameron's gonna forget that Alexis used to be Drew's mother-in-law. So
And he was like the preferable husband.
yes, like the favorite son-in-law. Yikes. Miss you, Billy. Okay. Tuesday, Carly dodges a bullet. Probably not literally. Drew forms a new theory. Can't wait. Spencer clashes with Nicholas. Spencer's gonna find out about Niz this week, and I'm very excited for that fallout. Can't wait. And Sam worries about Dante. I would be worried too about his taste in friends, to be honest. And his, job, obviously.
His
Dante,
taste in jobs.
his taste in jobs and his taste in friends. It's a good thing for him that he is a whole ass snack. Wednesday, the Quartermains exchange presents. Alexis counsels Spencer. And in the scene, I guess, he's talking to her about Nicholas and what he's gonna do, where, I think she ends up advising him to follow what he loves. ... Meanwhile, Gregory confronts Chase. Great. And Marshall has a sentimental gift for Curtis. A hat?
Is it a hat?
I hope it's a hat. I hope it's a hat and not like another piece of his clarinet.
A fraternity hat.
Fraternity hat. I'm the person you've been looking for your entire life. I also have a bald ass head. Never forget. Thursday, Dex comes to Jocelyn's aid. She's got something in her mouth that he needs to get with his mouth. Is my guess.
Maybe the hook almost gets Joss.
Ooh, that would be exciting. Trina and Spencer put their heads together. Sabrina, spoiler.
And they put their mouths together.
I would like that. I doubt it, but I like that. I like the vision. I'm on board with the vision. He does show up at her house, so I'm assuming Portia's not home. Always should allow that otherwise.
Wait, what's gonna happen when Portia finds out about Niz? Okay, sorry, I'm distracted.
No, I love it. I want everyone to find. I want to see everyone's reaction to Niz. One thing about Niz is that they're gonna create some juicy scandal.
That's what they do.
That's what they do, except for with that silly like partner swap thing they had with Franco. Yeah, and Ava. That was
weird.
Not the Niz drama that I expect.
No.
Okay. Whew, getting off topic. Esme taunts Nicholas. Probably like, bitch, you thought I was the hook killer and I'm just a regular ass psycho. So joke's on you. Meanwhile, Carly and Ava find common ground.
Liar?
I hope that it is destroying their ex-husbands.
Oh.
And Chase levels with Brooklyn. Can't see this going well. They've just again have so lost their way with this couple. Friday is Christmas morning in Port Charles, and Scott has an important reminder for Elizabeth. It's probably about her birth control prescription.
She hasn't been needing it, to be honest.
She was like, I didn't think I would need it because I was dating Finn.
And he is birth control.
Meanwhile, Austin requires Britt's expertise. Is he pregnant too? Because she's an OB. I don't understand what's going on here.
Right.
And Sunny helps Sasha with an important task. We were doing so well.
Socializing.
On there being no Sunny spoilers since Monday, and then of course they have to have Sasha on prop duty as if she hasn't suffered enough. So that's the week leading up to Christmas. And then we have our lead up into New Year's. So that's Monday, the 26th. Britt's decision surprises Terry. Heather is intrigued by what she learns. Dante encourages Cody. I wish it would be to leave town. Trina and Spencer are determined. That's 2 Sabrina spoilers, 2 weeks back to back.
Yes.
We have movement, people. I believe in it.
It's happening.
It's happening. They are in scenes together. This is how dry it has been that we're excited about these sad little spoilers. But anyway, but I feel like with Sabrina, the spoilers are usually like very bare and they over deliver in the actual execution. So I believe. Tuesday, the 27th, Brooklyn opens up to Maxie. Michael encourages Willow. This looks like a bad day. Sunny brokers a deal. Carly runs interference. Caroline.
Embarrassing.
And Chase catches up with Sasha. Could be messy. It could be, but will it? We'll see.
It won't be.
Wednesday, the 28th, Ulbrecht makes a promise. Can it be to please not tell any more of Britt's business to people? Thank you. Has she not been through enough? Spencer apologizes to Ava. This week is giving, spoiler wise, for me at least. I'm ready for the Spencer Ava team up.
Oh yeah, because he's gonna know about Miz.
Yes.
He's gonna find out about Miz, and she still is in control of his money too.
Yeah.
So if I were Spencer, I'd be extra nice to Ava and extra pissed at my dad for putting me in this situation. I'm like, you went. Not only did you marry this woman that I really was like, please do not marry this woman. You gave her control of my money, and then you had an affair with my cousin's mom. Okay. Again?
Again.
Cyrus offers aid to Laura. Love it. The mystery deepens for Anna and Valentine.
That's what she said.
And Victor issues a warning to Nicholas. It's Wednesday for me. I'm loving Wednesday.
Tell us. I'm ready.
Thursday, the 29th, Esme tries to work Elizabeth. Michael is determined. Ava reveals what she's after. It's a victory. Laura voices her suspicions, and Britt's party kicks off. Finally, Friday, the 30th, it's New Year's Eve in Port Charles. Liz makes a revelation to Finn. It better not be the truth. I don't want to hear it. We got to keep this pregnancy going, girl. I love it too much. I'm not ready to let go yet. Laura encourages Nicholas to jump off the parapet. I hope. It's probably not. Laura and her awful children. Esme takes a big risk. I also wish it would be off the parapet. That's too good to be true. And Britt's party is full of surprises. I would just also like to say that Sabrina will probably be at Britt's party. Because there are pictures of them in party gear from around the time that this would have been filmed. And obviously Spencer's going to be there because, his relationship with Britt. So I'm still going to put my clown makeup on for Sabrina New Year's Eve.
It's a New Year's Eve Sabrina kiss?
I think we are owed at least that. Now, obviously, if they kiss, they're not actually going to end up together in that moment. But it is time. Because you know what? Frank did say to Finola and JPS, the Vanna fans aren't having it anymore. Y'all gotta bang. So
I was there with vanilla sodas.
Sabrina, New Year's Eve, give it to us, Frank. It's not too late. If you haven't already given it to us, it's not
Have
too
them
late.
come and film. They know. Well, what a great rest of the year.
The soap is soaping.
It's open.
I'm looking
It's
forward
open.
to Sabrina. I'm looking forward to Vanna. I'm looking forward to Cyrus and Laura.
Yeah.
I to Brit's messy ass party.
Yeah. I'm hoping that my girl Jocelyn gets it together and breaks up with her boyfriend before the end of the year, but it looks like that might not happen. Yikes. Whew,
Yeah, unfortunately, no Nina destroying chaos spoilers, but that might just be too good to spoil, you know?
Well, y'all, it's been a shift on a Sunday.
We have shifted.
You have previewed for us 2 whole weeks. It's really exciting. Yeah, it's Freedom Week. That's the name of this episode. I'm inspired by it. It was going to be, that was one way to defund the PCPD, but I've decided to change it.
They're both really good titles. So
anything for the good of the order before we go?
I didn't leave anything to chance. I said it all.
So, all right. Well, we will see you not next week, but the following week.
Happy holidays to you and to everyone listening.
Yes. Happy holidays, y'all.
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.